Good morning and welcome to the Brick by Brick podcast with Ronald Pauleus, where we look at the principles woven throughout the world that you can take advantage of to build a life worth living brick by brick. We are blessed again to have Audrey with us. She was here with us probably a few weeks ago on our podcast. I interviewed her. She gave us some of her precious time, that resource we never could get back. Got her on here again. This time she's going to go in a little bit into what she's doing here in the Sub 2 community because Sub 2, there's so many ways to make money in Sub 2. There's so many avatars. There's so many people with different superpowers that complement each other. And when I first connected with Audrey, she joined Sub 2 and was doing capital raising. She was also a PML, which is a private money lender. But since that fire has kind of gone ablaze in her, she's joined something called Owners Club. She'll talk a little bit about that, but she's just taken off. And before we started recording, she was sharing some exciting projects she has going forward here in my state, Oklahoma. And so she's out in New Mexico, right?
That's correct.
And so glad to hear and have her on here again. Uh, Audrey, please, would you my listeners kind of already know some of you from our last interview, but would you kind of share what you decided to do when you joined Sub 2?
Yeah. I joined Sub2 because I thought that I could, through creative finance, instead of owning one rental property that we sold and we made money off of, I could use that money to buy two or three rental properties. And that would
Mm.
really give me the cash flow that I can change my life. And quickly, I realized that that was not the case.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a cash flowing property. It's not always that easy to get into them with the money that I had available, at least. And then I had just been a landlord and didn't really enjoy it that much. So I wasn't really dying to be a landlord again. And I know you can order
Yeah.
or hire property management, but that cuts into your cash flow even more. So I realized pretty quickly that that wasn't the route that was going to get me to where I wanted to go. And from there, I swerved into private money lending, and
Yeah.
that changed everything. The deal that I ended up doing, the returns on it are great, but I know now that if I would have just held out a little bit longer, there's people, just because it's Sub2 and Gator, there's people that offer even higher, like significantly higher returns than even I had found. Um,
Yeah.
it's just a whole new world, and you can really make a lot of passive income doing lending. And so that I jumped into that really quickly, and it kind of snowballed from there.
Okay. Okay. So you jumped into PML after realizing that you will need several more properties than just, two or three to get the cash flow to sustain your family's dreams. So with that PML, you said what was what was the return on you mentioned a deal. What was your returns
Mhm.
there compared to what you're getting now or
So
aiming
my
for?
money is still actually in that deal because it's going a little bit long. And I mean, the borrower has been fine. Like he's been very
Okay,
communicative and
perfect.
not being sketchy or anything, but the just property didn't sell. And so he's trying to figure out, like,
Mm,
do we drop the price and take a loss, or do we refinance it? What are we going to do
I
to
see.
get my lenders paid out? So my money is
Yeah.
still in that deal, and it is a 20% annualized interest. So over a full year, I'm making 20%, which is actually amazing if you think about any other option. Like,
Oh
it's very
yeah.
difficult to make that in the stock market consistently, and you definitely don't make that through any
Yeah.
high interest savings account or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, I was pumped on 20%, and I jumped at it, and I felt comfortable with this borrower, and so I did it, and it's worked out. I am eager to get my funds back though.
Get it working again. So
Yeah, exactly.
what was that time period you were in for, or you were supposed to be in?
I lent my money, I think mid-September, and the due date was May 1st. So it was like a little over, I
Mm,
think 7 months. It was supposed to be 6 months, but it got pushed out a little. So anyways, yeah, it ended up being around right around like 7 or 8 months.
Okay, 20% return with these types of things. I'm thinking of my listeners who they're on their way to work, they're working out, whatever it is, and they're thinking, man, she probably has like 50, 75,000, 100,000 loaned out. As a PML, what's how much do you need to be a PML?
Yeah, that is a question I get asked often. I don't think there's like a set number. Luckily, we had sold a rental property, so I did loan 60K, which is like a nice chunk, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I know people, not everybody has access to $60,000 to start lending. I don't think that much is necessary. And there's also so many other ways to access funds that people don't think
Mm-hmm.
about. I have a lot of people that have an old 401k that was just kind of sitting there, and who knows if
Yeah.
it was doing well or not based off of the stock market these days.
Right.
So they roll that over into a self-directed IRA. Like my mom had a old brokerage account somewhere or something out in who knows where. And so she was like, "Oh yeah,
Okay.
I do have that 30 grand sitting there." So she rolled that over into a self-directed IRA and is
Nice.
lending with that. There's a lot of people that have a chunk of equity available in their house, so they can take out a line of credit on that equity and use
Oh,
that to
okay.
lend. So it
Okay.
doesn't always have to mean that you have just thousands of dollars in your savings account. It can
I
come
see.
from other ways, and there's also, through Sub2 and Gator, they also teach us how you can open up an LLC for lending, and through that LLC, you can get approved for 0% interest credit cards to lend with, or business credit lines of
Mm,
credit to lend with. So there's a lot of different options if somebody really wants to go, do the lending and do it for real. There's a lot of different ways to
yeah.
access capital to start building.
Okay. Nice, nice. So I'm hearing you can have less than 60. Would 3,000 be okay, depending on
I
the deal?
think
Okay.
there are options for people to come in with only $5,000. There's a new online platform called Fractional. And so a lot of people are taking their deals and taking it on to
Mm,
Fractional. And then you can jump on their webinar, learn about the deals that they're doing, learn about whatever they're doing, if it's co-living, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of different people on
yeah.
Fractional doing that. And Fractional does allow you to lend or invest in the deal with as low as $5,000. So
Wow.
if you have
Okay.
$5,000 and you're looking where to place it, that is an option for sure.
Awesome. Okay. And even if
Yeah.
you don't have five, there's other options like a home equity line, a LLC where you open up a line of credit. Okay. Now,
Yep.
the other question is, how do you like, where do you find the paperwork? How do you protect yourself? Who's teaching this?
Yeah, there's quite a few people that know about it and are teaching it and are very helpful with this side of the thing of the lending game, that are in Sub2 and Gator, of course. And you can also find a lot of stuff on YouTube, just, obviously make sure they're credible sources. But the paperwork, I would always, if you're going to be a lender, I would always make sure you have something called a transaction coordinator. So a transaction coordinator is somebody that helps you get all the paperwork in order,
Mm,
and that it's the correct paperwork, and that they help make sure that you are protected. And so if you're going to find a transaction coordinator, do make sure that they are familiar with transacting private money lending deals, because they are
mm,
different than like a wholesale deal or a
yeah,
fix
yeah.
and flip deal or whatever the case may be. They're just different. And so you want to make sure that you're using or working with somebody that knows the terminology and knows the proper documents to have in place for a PML deal. But yeah, a transaction coordinator is something that you really want to have on every deal to make sure that all the paperwork is correct and that you are protected. And I would highly recommend doing that over trying to find and do any of the paperwork yourself, because I don't have the answers for doing it yourself, because I don't do it myself, so I don't know how to do
Yeah.
that.
Nice, nice. So I'm thinking of my listeners here. They're looking and listening to you. You're a mom. You have two kids. You're a wife. You you're working a W-2, you just hit your goal to not only, well, you surpassed your goal, and you're just working 6, 7 days a month. So obviously this private money lending stuff is working for you. Obviously.
Yes.
If if I have too much on my plate and I'm not wanting to go as far as you are, is there a way where I can work something out with you? I'm thinking of my listener here, where you could walk me through the process of getting a home equity line or transferring or working with the 401k that I have, and you're obviously in front of deals, you got connections with investors. I don't. How would that work if I just want to let you deploy my capital? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite things actually about private money lending and capital raising is helping new lenders get started.
Mm-hmm.
I have helped, I think, maybe at least 12 in the past 6 months, 12 to 15 brand new
Wow.
lenders get started in
Nice.
lending and getting their figuring out where they can get money from and
Nice.
helping them
Wow.
through that process. And it is so rewarding. It's significantly more rewarding than just like lending my own money or just finding money from other like big time real
Yeah.
estate investors because they already know what they're doing and they don't get
Exactly.
excited about the life changing income that they passive income that they can make and
Yeah.
all that stuff. You know what I mean? But I've been able to like my mom, my father-in-law, two of my best friends, my coworkers, like I've been able to help so
Mm.
many people close to me that it's just like opened up their world of what is possible.
Wow.
So I am
Yeah.
always looking to help other people get started and walk them through the process. I've helped several people, including my mom, start the self-directed IRA. I'm walking through my best friend through the process right now of getting the business credit
Nice.
and she
Nice.
opened up an LLC. I helped her get that, and then we were walking through the process day by day. We're on the phone every day, but still, it's so
Yeah.
fun to like. She gets so
Right.
excited. I just got approved for $27,000. It's like so awesome. So I'm helping
Exactly.
her get the business credit going so that she can use that to lend. There's just so many, like I have a good CPA that I've been able to refer to people to really
Yeah. Yeah.
help them maximize the tax implications of lending. So
Mm.
I'm
Okay.
always super excited to help people that have just discovered private money lending and are realizing the potential impacts on their life that can come from investing their money smart and getting passive income that can open up some doors for them, whether that's financially, whether that's time freedom,
Yeah.
even just the concept of financial freedom and like watching people discover what that is and the excitement that follows is like my
Mm.
favorite thing.
Yes. Like it's for us, it's amazing. I've been able to quit my W-2 and I do the real estate full time, direct to seller, helping homeowners stop foreclosures. And every now and then one says, I just want to sell my property, and we're purchasing those, wholesaling. And then I'm getting into some bigger things. And it's always amazing when I have friends who are like, I see your Instagram stories. Like, what are you doing? Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's exciting. So you can help with that. My listeners could reach out to you and you can kind of help them navigate that. For you, you kind of mentioned before our recording here that you got some exciting projects going. You joined Owners Club. Like kind of share how much this has really changed your life. Like you were just listening to Bigger Pockets. I started listening to Bigger Pockets. I'm sure my listeners are listening or have listened to Bigger Pockets. And now you're not only in sub 2, but you're in Owners Club. That's the next level. That's the elite club in sub 2. We go to Squad Up Summit and we see people with the green tags signifying they're an owners club, and it's like, oh, somebody's right there in owners club. Like it's the elite club in sub 2. That's my dream. Next year, I'm gonna join owners club. This is really
Yes, you
taking
are.
off for you. Thank you. This is really taking off for you Like, just share that because somebody's gonna listen, and just like something clicked for you when you were listening to Bigger Pockets, this is gonna click for somebody. Just sharing your story.
Mhm.
What took off?
Mhm.
Just share about that trajectory there for us, please.
Oh my gosh, so many
Get fired up.
emotions. Like I just, oh my gosh. This, yeah, it's emotional to like think back on,
Mm.
a year ago of like, ugh, it's crazy. It's hard to put into words a little bit just because you don't think that's gonna be you. Like everybody in sub two
Oh yeah,
says you will not recognize yourself in a year from now. And I was like, that's
big time.
whatever, dude. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not gonna be me. I'm gonna just be my same self, still hustling or whatever.
yeah.
And now I joined sub two in August, at the very beginning of August of 2024. And so not even a year. And
Wow,
I just don't, I can't fully
wow.
express like what has happened in the past 8 months and how
Wow.
sometimes you feel like it's moving so slowly. You're just
Oh yeah,
like,
100%.
in a year, I'm gonna be ahead of where I started, but I won't be
100%.
like that far ahead. But it's just like so funny because even though it feels like it's moving slowly in the moment, over a year, it just really does compound and to the point where
100%.
you end up 8 months later and you're living almost a completely different life. Not really like I still live in the same house, I still have the same
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
friends,
yeah,
all that, but it's a different life and like my mindset, what I'm doing with my time each day to make
yeah.
money, like
Wow.
the people that I'm interacting with, all of that is just so different. And so it is so doable for people if they just have that mindset of like you're putting work in every day. It's not just like a quick, get rich
Mm,
quick thing. It's like you have to work
mm,
hard and hustle, but it
wow.
is so doable if you
Mm.
commit to that. So I started sub two. I got working. I did my first PML deal. That I knew I wasn't done. All my personal funds are out. What do I do now? Just sit and wait? Like that's not what I
Mm,
joined this for.
yeah, yeah.
Because yes, that's a good return, but it's not a life-changing return. I need to do more. And so that's
Mm,
how I kind
mm,
of started snowballing into the capital raising space and started putting the word
mm.
out there that I'm private money lending. Like, does anybody else want help? And one person that I haven't talked to in 5 years, I made two posts on Facebook
Oh my
of this
word.
is what private money lending is. This is what I do. Two posts. A coworker from 5 years ago that lives in Washington State. I no longer live in Washington State.
Oh my
She
word.
wasn't even a direct coworker. She was like the emergency department manager or something. Reached out and was like, "Hey, my husband's an accountant. Like, this is right up his alley. Could we hop on a call and like learn more?" We got on a call with them and they were like, "Yeah, we're in. We have 110K. Like, we could probably have it out in the next week. We're ready to go." And
Oh
I
my
was like,
word.
uh, "Excuse me? You're trusting me with $110,000?
Wow.
I've done
Yeah.
one PML deal." And they did, and I will be
Wow.
forever grateful to them for
Wow,
trusting in
wow,
me because
wow.
that's what gave me the
Yeah.
confidence to do
Proof of
everything that
concept.
I'm doing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They gave me the confidence of like, I can do this. Like people will trust me to
Wow.
help them invest and change their life. And so they invested, and then my best friend, and then another coworker, and then my mom, and it's just a couple sub two people, and so it's just kind of continued from there. And I went to Squad Up Summit. I was having serious imposter syndrome, but somebody by the name of Joshua Sun, give him shout
Mm.
out because he's
Woo.
killing it, is in Owners Club, and he told a story that he joined Sub Two, joined on credit cards. His whole life he was not doing well on his W-2. His mind and his heart and his soul weren't in it, and so he was supporting his family on credit cards. He
Mm.
joined Sub 2. A month later, joined Owners Club, all on credit cards. And then came to Squad Up Summit this year and he made $400,000 off of capital raising. Yeah, in 1 year. And I'm
Man,
like,
just
who is
capital
that
raising.
person? And
Wow.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Wow, wow, wow,
And he's
wow.
an amazing human and he's doing
Wow.
wonderful things and he made a lot of money in 1 year. And it wasn't like he was some he, big time person. He just joined
Yeah.
Owners
Yeah.
Club because he knew that he was willing to put in the work and whatever it took to make this work. And
Yeah.
he
Mm,
put in the money also to be surrounded by those elite people. And
yeah.
I was like,
Mm.
okay, I've been in sub two for far more than a month. I've already raised, 800 grand. So I'm not elite as a lot of the owner clubs
Mm,
people are,
mm,
but I know that I want to be surrounded by them. And
yeah.
I know that next year I want to come out and be like, I've done, exponentially more
Yeah.
than the first year. And so
Yeah.
I knew that it was the invest and like, I knew that I needed to believe in myself and do the thing. And I joined Owners Club. And then that anxiety once again rolled right up and said, I'm back.
Yeah.
um, yeah, just like after I joined Sub 2, I was like, this is so much money. Same thing after Owners Club, like the month after I joined,
Yeah.
I was feeling it. I was feeling it. But if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And it forced me to get that mindset
Love it.
shift of like, where are we at? What are we doing? How are we going to
Love
level
it.
up this year?
Hmm.
And so it was necessary and it was huge. And from there, it's continued to just, yeah, skyrocket from there.
Wow. Wow. So you you had money, you used all of it, doing what you joined to do, right? To make your PML, you're making money work for you. But you're like, I need to do more. Yeah, I need to do more. Thank you so much for sharing. We're coming up on time, and your kid. It's time for your kiddos to
I
get
know. Apparently, my
the
daughter
care and love they
decided that
need.
we're done today. No, just
No
kidding.
worries.
You're fine.
And
This is the whole point of this, right? Is to be home
I
with the
love
little
it.
ones.
Yes, 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 yes. What's her name?
This is Lennon.
Lennon. Hey, hey, cutie.
Say hi.
You said she's one,
She's 1.5. Yeah.
1.5. Nice. My daughter
Yeah.
Ava is 16 months.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty close. I think she's like 21 months. I don't know. I lose track of the months, to be honest.
Yeah. My I get confused on when we start just saying years and stop saying
Yes.
months. So like my
Yes.
wife is still on the
I'm
16-month
at
stuff.
2. I'm like, then we're just 2.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I want to say just one, but the
Yeah,
wife's trying to
yeah.
control things here. No, not really. She's
Yeah.
she's loving,
Let me
but
go take her just 1 second.
for sure, for sure. There you go, folks. A mom able to be on a podcast, and her daughter is just right there. And you know what? What would your life look like if you were able to be at home making more money than you have at your W-2 and spending more time with your kids than you have before?
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry
Welcome
about
back.
that.
Nah, you're good. This is what we do it for. So people could be inspired and realize like she's literally with her daughter right now.
Yeah, she's literally doing it in the moment.
And so would you kind of share some mindset stuff you kind of shared as we come to an end here? I want to respect your time. You kind of shared that anxiety struck you before you or after you joined Sub 2. It was a lot of money. And then you joined Owner Club, which is probably 3 times as much. Anxiety hits you, and yet you're here making big moves. You're passing. Like, how amazing is it to dream something that, from your perspective, 8 months ago was seemingly out of reach, just working 2 less shifts, and then to double that, right? Like that would have probably been the next 2 years. Like, let's just in 2 years we want to get to working 6 or 7 days. Now you're
Right.
there in 8 months. Share something
Hmm.
regarding mindset that would just click and help somebody here who is facing anxiety, imposter syndrome, yet they want more for their family, they want more for their kids, they want to leave a work ethic behind that they can emulate. Like they just want more. What could you share
Hmm.
that Like, fire us up here. Give us something.
Oh man, I will do my best.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, mindset wise, it's like you have to go through it, right? You don't get to skip the imposter syndrome. You don't get to skip the anxiety or that
Mm,
nervousness.
mm,
Like you have to feel it. You have to go through it in order to use it to fuel your drive to grow
mm,
through it. But you have to go through that uncomfortable feeling to figure out what's important to you, to figure out what your goal is, to figure out your path forward to I mean, that feeling is what pushes you to keep going. If you joined sub two and felt perfectly comfortable with it, then it's like you don't, then you're likely to fizzle out of just like,
yeah.
well, I don't really feel that nervous about it. I don't really feel that passionate about it. So it's like as soon as it gets hard, you're like, meh, oh well. But if you're feeling that uncomfortable feeling, that nervousness, that anxiety, that okay, I just spent all this money, like how am I going to make it worth it? That's what unfortunately or fortunately, it's uncomfortable, but that's what fuels you to get to that
Mm,
next level. And once you get there, and once you get through it and you see the path forward, it will just snowball and you won't really even
mm,
realize it's happening, but it just will continue to grow and grow and grow. And
yeah.
then you'll hit another wall where you're like,
Mm,
oh shoot, like this new thing that I want to do or whatever it is. And you'll start to feel that anxiety again and that imposter syndrome again and all that. And you gotta go through the work to break
mm.
through it because that
Yeah.
is the only way you get to the
Yeah.
next level. But it is so uncomfortable when you're going through it. Like you
Yeah.
don't know which way's up, down, left, right. You don't know what you want to do. You
Yeah.
don't even know what you want to eat. You don't know you don't know your name. You just are like, where am I? What am I doing? And it is so uncomfortable. Like it really is. Like, how am I going to make this or what do I even want a business out of this? It's just,
Mm,
it's uncomfortable for sure. But if you can read the mindset books or listen to the mindset podcast, Ed Milet is
mm.
so good. Even just listening to Pace Morby, his Zooms, like if you're just
Yeah.
listening to that, his YouTube, whatever, and you can just grasp onto little pieces here and there that get you through, the vision will clear and then you start hustling again and because you
Mm.
know the vision but it's
Yeah.
gonna you have to keep going through those steps and this is like actually me just talking to myself right now because this it's
100%.
so hard those periods of time I just feel
Yeah.
like icky because you're just so uncomfortable you don't know what's going on and you don't know what this path forward looks like but if you just keep showing up day by day keep doing it keep doing the work you will break through that and then it just gets so much smoother.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
so but it going through it is not easy. But of course, you know, I'm starting to learn in life, like nothing super amazing or something that you really want. If it's easy, it's probably not that good.
Yeah.
You know, the end goal or the end result is
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
not that good. Like if you have to really work through something, the final goal feels so
Yeah.
good.
100%. I love Alex Hermosi and his content. And as we come to an end, I'll share this. In one of his videos, he said several things that's clicked with me and helped me get going. Pace Morby also. Alex said this: the easy way isn't the way because the easy way doesn't get you there. Like the
Right.
hard way is the way because that's the only way to get to where you're wanting. You want financial
Yep.
freedom, you want time freedom, you want location freedom. Hard way is the only way. Cause the easy
Right. Because
way,
if it was easy,
you're gonna
everybody would be there.
boom, boom. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Everybody'd be in sub two.
Exactly.
Everybody be in owners club. You know, everybody be working
Yep.
6 or 7
Exactly.
days a month. But then we
Exactly.
like, yeah, everyone's not the hard way.
It's so simple to understand, but it is like such a big also realization of like there's a reason that there's some people that work when they want and how they want and do what they want. It's because they took, you know, this they went through the hard
Yeah,
path, they went through the challenges, but it is hard. That's why the end goal is superior to the
Yes.
alternative.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Um, so yeah, but it's so worth it. You have to take action though. I know there's a lot of people that want to just sit on the Zooms or sit on the YouTube and just consume. They want to know the answer to every single thing before they start taking any action.
Yeah.
And like that also is
Yeah.
a really hard place to get out of, because you just like, well, what if this? Well, what if this? What if this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't get
100%.
stuck there. You have to start making the
Hmm.
phone calls. I've called sellers when I first joined Sub 2. By no means do I intend to wholesale a single deal, but I wanted to just meet the
Yeah.
people, get the connections, understand
Hmm.
what calling a seller looks like, get uncomfortable. Like I
Hmm.
just needed to be going through that to get to where I wanted to go and figure out that's not what I want to do, but you don't know that until you try it.
Yep.
So you
Yep. Yep.
have
Yep.
to just start doing things. Even if you don't know that's what you want to do, you have to just jump in and start doing it.
Mm.
You cannot get anywhere by watching YouTube.
Boom. you
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 can
shared.
learn a lot, but you won't actually do
Yeah.
anything.
So for the listeners here, to summarize what she's saying, action is what moves the needle. Basically, action moves the needle.
Yep.
You can stay in YouTube University all day long, but YouTube University will not grow your bank account to where you could work 6 or 7 days a month, not a week, a month.
Right.
YouTube University won't
That's right.
will give you the knowledge, but action will get you in the room with your kids more. Action will get you in a situation where on a live podcast, your baby comes up and it's like, hey, baby, like I can do this now, right? Like action does
Yep.
that. And so as we come to an end here, what are you doing this week to build a life worth living brick by brick? Audrey, thank you so much for being on here with us. If you share your social media connections and handles, love for our listeners to get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Audrey Blotz on Facebook, Audrey Blotz on TikTok, and then on Instagram, it's at Audrey Blotzy. And you can reach out to me on any of them. I'm more than happy to help you create an action plan, get started,
Awesome.
discover what lending is, all those things. We got to take action.
Awesome. 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 Thanks for being on here and giving of your precious resource time, the only resource we don't get back. Thank you so much. You all have a
You're
good
so
day.
welcome.
Bye bye.